She crashed one of our drivers. Just enjoy life, and also some other race in Miami and all that stuff. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Seb Bosher-Williams. We got Sean Cranleigh-Swash in the production booth, and you're here live on Total Sim Sport. Seb, Hockenheimring, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, really excited actually. You know, we've seen some great races here in other Formula 3 leagues in iGPFUN. Certainly not going to disappoint tonight. Packed, absolutely packed grid. 41 drivers currently in the session, and I can't wait to see all 41 of those go into turn 1 at full speed. It's going to be certainly a spectacle to watch as Lucas Baruch takes the very interesting line around the Mobile 1 curve, turn 12. To be a little bit more precise. Yep, these drivers have had 1 week off, although there was a fun race around the Nordschleife, but I don't think all drivers attended, as you're right. There was a special race going on, although I don't think we'll be necessarily discussing that too much. As
I got sunburned.
You got sunburn and I fell asleep, so on the scale of 1 to 10, it wasn't the best race, and Jerome laid me there, taking the interesting way to stop into turn 2. Don't want to be doing that in the race too much. And we have a new driver, and that's Timu there in the number 33 car. Don't necessarily recognize his name, so
I know
to see some new drivers.
Timu is a long-time regular of the iGPFUN series. He hasn't been making a lot of appearances this season, but if you know the phrase, it's Timu time, that is Timu Miligangas right there, the Finnish driver. Very glad to see him back in iGPFUN. We have seen him in other Formula 3 leagues, in iRacing, and it's glad to see Timu back here in Hockenheimring as, a little bit of avoiding action here in qualifying.
Yeah, getting very racy out on track, obviously getting ready for their... and who is that going around? That's James Cockram. Certainly not taking the ideal way through the turn 14-15 chicane. Very Max Verstappen-esque. Yeah, great to see drivers back on the grid then. I'll change my statement from before as we have a look at Andy Flynn up there in P9. And look how tight this field is. We've got the lap times up on the screen. Hermer is at a league of his own in a little bit. He's a 1 minute 30.2. And then you have to go all the way down to 22nd place to find the first driver out of a second of Sam Hermer. And that is always what we'd like to see here at iGPFUN. And, you know, the last couple of races that we had it at Phillip Island, and it was absolutely insane. And Hockenheim just lends itself to even more overtaking. We're going to see some insane, crazy action. I think, Austin, we're gonna lose our voices, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I'm already prepared for that one, and you know, a lot of things can happen around here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hockenheimring, such a wide track and everything, so you know, I'm excited for it, and I hope everybody else is excited for this as well. It's going to be edge of your seat action for sure here in iGPFUN. And, you know, if you know where to find a good lung after this race, just send that to me because I might need that after it.
Yeah, I think we all will. So we've got about 1 minute left in qualifying, actually about 15 seconds even, so getting ready to see the final results. Not many people out on track. Hermer, Lamy, Varani and Timu as well, all your top 4 not out on track, so they will not be able to improve on their lap times as the session goes to the checkered flag. So these is where your laps count. You can no longer start a new lap, and this is where it comes to crunch time. You need to maximize every apex, just brake a little bit later and take a little bit more apex speed in. And that is Lucas Maruk taking, that's Will McIntyre taking a lot of apex speed through the final corner there and crosses the line. Doesn't improve on his lap time. This is Jerome Lamy coming out of the pits for some reason. Not going to be able to start or even finish a lap, but yeah, he wanted a little bit of a race start, I think, for Jerome Lamy there.
Yeah, Jerome Lamy. Oh, very good position for him. Just missing out on pole by just 0.06 of a second right there. Samuel Herbert sitting on provisional. Time has run out here in qualifying. We do have one driver in the top 10 coming across the line right now. That'll be Andy Flint. They did improve in their sector, but they do not improve on their lap time. Actually, they did improve their lap time, but to the point where they're tied with Christian Glamsetter. But since Glamsetter is 0.02 of a second ahead of him, they will stay ahead.
Oh, that's really upsetting. It is hurtful. You know, as a driver, you could, after you've done the lap and you see how close the drivers are ahead of you, you can almost always recall like, oh, like I locked the brakes a little bit, say into the hairpin or something like that. And as a driver, you're constantly like beating yourself up. Like if I hadn't done that, I'd have been 3 spots higher. And you sort of need to
on
like
a good lap. Well, Lamley is saying he's on his out lap, so I don't think this lap is going to be counting. But I believe we saw him just pip a lap time in.
No, Lamy's just started the lap time now, so he definitely came out of the pits after the timer stopped. So he's just coming around turn 1 at the moment, just almost
lap 1 practice.
Yeah, I think it is. He's done a practice start and he's going to get some lap 1 practice. Richard van Veen down in 25th place. Not where we normally expect to see Richard, normally a little bit higher up the field, although we say that he's still only a second off Sam Hermer, so it's not exactly a bad qualifying session from him. It just goes to show how tight this pack really is.
Yeah, Samuel Herber is up on pole with Jerome Lamy starting right beside him, followed by Luca Varani. Timu Time in 4th place, followed by Dario Angelo, Gavin Petty, Lucas Maruk, Christian Glamsetter, Andy Flint, and Will McIntyre in 10th place. They're followed by Antonio Tellez, Vincenzo Monron, Adam Talisman, Nicholas Westman, and Christian Latanzio, and James Cockram in 16th place. Behind them is Clark Williams, James Polsland, Simon Fessy, Reed Dennis, Richard Van Veen, Nicola Kona, Rafael Munzer, and Robert Ridgway, followed by Zoltan Zomer, Kuchi, Ido, James Luis, and Jim the Backer, Massimo De Laurentiis, and clearly Richie Robertson, followed by Nick Carty and Patrick Rollins in 36th place. Behind them in 37th would be Antonio Benitez and Noel Richie Robertson, Jeffrey Brewer, Matthew Gracie, and then at the end of the R41 car grid is Nico Veldman,
who did not set a time for Nico Veldman. Also, I think Matthew Gracie didn't get his lap time in. He was 6 seconds off Sam Hermer's time, so expect to see, I think, more pace from those two on the back row of the grid. Just to note, Hermer, so he was in another race yesterday that we had the pleasure of watching Sam Hermer in. He struggled when he led from the lead. So, when of course he led from the lead. When on the first lap he made a few mistakes and ultimately lost the win. So Hermer will be looking to rectify that tonight. He was incident prone to spinning the rear tires. Watch out for that. And Jerome Lamy, he is such a good starter. He is lightning quick on the clutch.
And yeah, Samuel Hermer definitely looking for a good start here as everyone's just lining it up. I was gonna We're just waiting for 3 more drivers. I believe Nico is not going to be making it to the grid. Gavin Petty has missed the start, so there is a spot waiting in 6th spot. So it's time to get ready to rock and roll as we got a false starter in the background as we go green, green, green at Hockenheimring. And off we go. It's a good start by Samuel Hermer, taking the lead immediately ahead of Jerome Langley. Then side by side, Luca Ferrari going around the outside of Team Milgongas right behind him, followed by Dario Angelo, Lucas Baruch, Christian Glamsetter, and the Flint Will McIntyre is looking down to the inside. There is Luca Ferrari on lap 1, down to the inside of Jerome Langley. Looking for 2nd place right there, cuts across the nose, but oh, there is Lamley down to the inside right there, still holding it off for 2nd place as everybody's still jostling for positions right now. They go side by side through the Parabolica. It's Timu time down to the inside. Timu almost making it 3 wide into the hairpin, almost making contact ahead of him is Verani. And Lamley as Timu holds it down to the inside, getting ahead of Lamley right there and back into 3rd.
Yeah, team, we didn't want to make it 3 wide. Of course, against the rules to make it 3 wide on the first lap, especially if you do it to Luca Verani, who was in charge of all the routes. Lamy, pretty shoddy start, you'd have to say, from him down to 3rd place, at least by Jerome Lamy's standards. I was talking about how quick he was on his reaction times and with his clutch, but Luca Verani just completely outdid him. Oh, and there's somebody around in the background. That's Vinny Morone having a spin in the background as he falls down the field. Not
James
what we normally
Cockram
see.
also off as well. Cockram's gone off in the, I believe, in the Mobile 1 corner right there as all these drivers continue on and keep going here as it is still Hermer, Verani, Lamley, Timu, and Dario Angelo. You see Lamley and Luca Verani having a little bit of scrap right there heading into turn 1. Jerome was looking down to the inside heading into turn 1. He's got a much better line coming out of the exit right now. He's looking on to, is he going to go for a move onto the inside of Luca? No, he's waiting for the Parabolica right now, but he's right on that gearbox in that fight for 2nd place, and Samuel Hermer is probably looking back and is like, that's right, keep on fighting.
Yeah, certainly is. The gap is 1.4 seconds almost now. Jerome Lamy pulls to the inside of Luca Verani behind them. That's, who is that? That's Dario making a move on Timu 2x2 as they head into the hairpin. Lamy ahead of Verani and Dario ahead of Timo. So 2 moves being done in the hairpin, showing how crucial turn 6 is for overtaking around Hockenheim. Dario had a great start at 1 position, which he's just made up into the hairpin. And behind him, Lucas Maruk and Glamsetter are coming in. And let's have a little bit of a replay, Austin, of what happened to Vinny Morone on lap 1.
It's obviously that's a lot of things. Oh my gosh. Well, that's what happened to James right there. This is definitely happening at warp speed in a little bit, but there's a lot of things that you can decipher from stuff happening at 5,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, Vinny Morone got a really wide in turn 10, got on the curb and around she went. Nothing really he could do about that. Of course, these cars run so low to the ground, so easy to bottom them out, and yeah, you've got no hope of spinning there. And did James Cockram get involved in some contact there?
He got airborne. That was the car flying through the air. Gavin Petty was also in there as well, so there was a lot of stuff happening. If it was going a little bit slower, we might have had a bit easier.
So Cockram's trying to avoid Vinny Morone. So Cockram's kind of lost it all by himself, although through no fault of his own. So he's tried to avoid Vinny Morone and ended up having an almighty shunt, as we see Luca Verani being passed for 3rd place. That's Dario Angelo up into the podium places. Vinny Morone, after that lightning start, falling down the order on lap 3. This is Lucas Maruk, a multiple winner this season, currently down in 7th, trying to get past Christian Glamsetter for 6th place. Glamsetter up 2 spots from the start, so he's had an almighty start, but now is starting to come under pressure from Lucas Maruk behind him, and the lap times are so similar. And Austin, I've just noticed this, and this is just going to spice up the racing. Jerome Lamy was about 1/10.5 quicker last lap than Sam Hermer in the lead, so Lamy has currently got the pace over 1st place man Hermer.
Yeah, Jerome, Lamley, and Hermer definitely Definitely going to be a fight between these two right there. Jerome Langley just slightly faster, though. Just a little bit. New fast lap of the race, though, goes to Dario Angelo right behind him. So the top three really laying it out right here in these opening laps. But Langley and Hermer and Angelo looks like to be the three-car fight for the lead here.
Yeah, that's a really impressive lap from Angelo there to go. What is that? It's about 3/10 faster even than Sam Hermer in the lead. Of course, he did benefit from the slipstream as we see another move down the inside into turn 6, and that's his Teemu getting ahead of Luca Varani. So where has Luca Varani's pace gone? He had a lightning start, but it's just fallen down the order every lap. And this is Lucas Maruk on the inside of Christian Glamsetter. They head side by side into Mercedes Arena. Glamsetter on the inside. Is he going to be able to hold the inside? No, Lucas Maruk goes all the way around the outside and has the inside line for turn 10. And that is the position for him. And we have more racing in the background. Evan Way dropping down the field a little bit. No, he's getting past. That's the number 7 car in the background going very slow. That's Telsma having an almighty... Oh, is there contact there, Austin? I saw sparks flying. And that's Simon Fessy. So. Simon Fessy making the best of that situation. He's up to 12th. Fessy in 13th. Alistair Hay in 14th. And Telsma, I think, got a little bit slow on the exit and just suffered the consequences all through that straight. And just goes to show, if you get offline in one of these cars, it really hurts your race.
Yeah, it certainly does, especially, yeah, that Adam Telsma was involved in that wreck. He's gone into the pit lane.
So he must have had damage. He must have picked up. He must have been. I wonder if he hit the wall on the entry to turn 12. Actually, where we saw the spark.
It's so easy. It's so easy, and that's where it has to be. Like that's the only reasonable situation where I think that incident actually was to happen right here, as we look at this fight. On Simon Fessy for 13th as they're chasing down the 92 of Evan Way. Actually got a really good toe down the Parabolicus, and now it's a 4-car fight for 12th as we were looking at Alistair Hayes, third in the line in this group.
Yeah, who is that? That's Darren Rowlandson behind, keeping on the back of this fight. And Alistair Hayes got to be watching in his mirrors now, thinking about, just being aware that, you know, anytime you go for a move on Simon Fessy, you're going to have to be watching in your mirrors as well to make sure Rowlandson isn't going to try a very optimistic move up the inside, round the outside. And this is what this track really lends it to. His Way goes way off the track in turn 12 there. Not to be outdone. That was Lawedo just going, well, if you can go wide, I can go just that little bit wider, as we're going to join the top 3 once again. And this battle intensifies. Hermer, Lamy, Dario Angelo, the top 3, separated by less than a second. For they're separated by less than 2 seconds and a second for each one of the drivers, and Lamy there all a quiver in the apex of turn 3, and I think Evan Way's had some form of issue just as we pulled away from him there, Austin.
Yeah, it always happens. It's the curse of the replay. Honestly, as this is what happened to Evan Way. He's got damage on the front wing, and gets taken out, slowing up for the pit lane. And that's why you always announce when you're heading into the pits.
Yeah, Evan Way had some form of damage. I don't even think he was coming into the pits. I think he was just slow on the apex.
He slowed up a lot. That was definitely looking like he was heading into the pits. He's definitely heading into the pits now, after getting just absolutely trashed in the final 2 corners, which is where the pit entry is. So it's a very odd situation right there, as this is Talisman looking down to the inside right there of Matthew Gracie. Gracie around the outside, just able to hold that around there for 28th place. And this is his teammate Andy Flint up there in 8th place, holding on Will McIntyre.
Yeah, great drive for Andy Flint. Upper position of where he started. Now got McIntyre behind him. And yeah, we're right. As Varani's managed to stay the course. He was losing a place about every lap, but he's managed to keep 5th place. Although dropped quite significantly off the back of Teemu, now almost 2 seconds. So Luca Varani's race not improving too much, but at least he's still in 5th place as we have a look at Andy Flint, all a little bit wide into turn 2 there. Car didn't really do what he would have wanted to, a little bit tardy on Apex, and that's put him under pressure from McIntyre as we head down towards turn 6 through the Parabolica now, and you just see McIntyre in the slipstream hugging that back of that car as much as he can, pulls out to the inside, and I think this is going to be a fairly standard late braking maneuver, and yeah, he gets it slowed down nicely. Actually, it's Flint that, yeah, Flint was the one that outbraked himself there, and we have another move there. That's Alistair Hay on Simon Fessy, the side-by-side on the exit, and we know, Austin, that this can get really tricky and really spicy as we head through turn 7 towards turn 8.
Yeah, Fessy around the outside. He's got to have the speed. Now he's got the inside line. Cleared him by a mile heading into the braking zone right there. And stays in 12th place. It's Alistair Hay now coming out of the Mercedes grandstand corner. It's going to be selling a massive dummy down to the inside. But Alistair Hay is, well, that was a very ambitious look down to the inside. But heading into the mobile corner, there goes Fessy into the gravel right there. And here comes Hay looking onto the outside, down to the inside. Switchback opportunity. Heading into the banked corner in the Hockenheim Arena right now. As Hay right on the gearbox of Simon Fessy. This could go side by side heading into turn 1 because Hay is right there. Hay's looking down to the inside. Side by side they go. Hay backs out of it, thought about it, wanted to go for it, but it is a death sentence if you definitely want to go side by side. Turn 1 at Hockenheimring, especially this early on in the race. Lap 8 out of 30 here right now, and that fight is going to get absolutely nasty. Jerome Lamley, as well, looking at his lap times, he's been slowing up a lot as Angelo has caught up right to the gearbox right now in this fight for 2nd place.
I don't think it's Lamey slowing down. I think it's Dario Angelo just speeding up. Lamey's fastest lap is a 1 minute 31.2. Last lap he did a 1 minute 31.3, so only around a 10th off his best lap time. But Dario is absolutely rapid out there. He is just excelling so far. A 10th quicker than Lamey on that last lap. His best is a 1 minute 31.1. Hermer goes off the track in turn 12. That will compromise him for turn 13. Of course, the Sachs curve, very famous corner. Very good place for an opportunistic overtake if you're feeling adventurous. Is Dario there has a little bit of a blink, but he is all back and ready to continue racing. And Dario is looking absolutely rapid. But who is that? That's Teemu in the background. Look at him. He's just quietly. He's on his own. But if anything starts to happen in these top 3, if they start to fight, Teemu is going to be there. And actually, Luca Varani and Marek isn't too far behind. This battle is far from over. And if Dario struggles to get past Lamey, or if they start battling, start going side by side, or start, arguing over apexes, especially, you've got turn 6 and turn 7, that right-hand kink where it's flat, but almost just. If they start battling, we could see more of a battle as down the outside goes Dario.
Right as you said the word battling, they went side by side. Honestly, I think you just say things into existence. Please, can I have a cheese sandwich?
Can we please get Austin a cheese sandwich? Oh, to the inside goes Angelo. That's going to become the outside for Mercedes curve. You can go around the outside. You can carry more speed in. Dario just pulls out. Austin, did you get your cheese sandwich yet, or is it not work?
Unfortunately, you willing things into existence into my hands is not there, but I do have the stuff to make a cheese sandwich. So yes.
Lamey very wide on the exit of turn 12. Seeing lots of drivers go wide there. Of course, there are some rules in iGPFUN that sort of suggest that you shouldn't really be taking 1x's to gain pace, and you have to say that drivers are braking quite optimistically into turn 12, so whether there'll be any repercussions after the race, it'll be yet to see. We saw, who is it? It was Alistair Hay take a very opportunistic line into turn 1, and that's explicitly written on the event notes that, you've got to be really careful into turn 1 to not get those 1x's, but Hermer just streaking away at the moment. And if you're Dario at the moment, Austin, what are you thinking? Are you thinking that you're going to start wanting to race Lamey, or you just want to pull away from Teemu a little bit and sort of bide your time and sort of strike later on in the race?
It's a very difficult deal with yourself, because you see this a lot in real life racing. You're just like, we could fight for second place or we could go for the lead. But also, the guy behind us is really quick, so it's more positives to be staying behind and helping them along to try to catch up to Hermer, and so they go fight for the lead. You might know that you're faster than them, but just use this time to bide your time and just stay with them and see if Hermer is able to be caught from Langley right there, because they lost half a second when they started battling with each other. And the Wave Italy driver, Dario Angelo, is probably thinking of that and is probably backed off this attack just to save his tires and see if they can catch up to Hermer and then launch his attack right there.
Yeah, Hermer very wide on the exit of turn 12 once again. Actually, all drivers are almost having a race to see how far into the gravel they can get before the rear starts to lose grip.
Well, this lap by Lamy compared to Hermer is pretty quick. It's a 10th faster that time by. So Jerome Langley has definitely had the pace on Samuel Hermer. And when they were battling, they were 1.5 seconds behind Hermer. So they've gained half a second since they've put their little truce beside them right there as they started chasing down Samuel Hermer right now. So the truce is working out for him.
It is. Actually, Jerome Langley's last lap time was the unofficial lap record of this race so far. He must have picked up a 1x, so it didn't count, but it was a 31 flat, about a 10th quicker than Sam Hermer. So you're right that this truce is certainly helping the top the top three, or the second and third. Thank you very much. Getting into first, not the top two. Of course, the top two are Hermer and Lamy, and Hermer doing exactly what he would have wanted from pole position, controlling the race so far, but Teemu just popped up on my timing stand, set the fastest final sector last lap. He was about a 10th quicker than Dario in third. And that's
Fessy getting elbowed wide, and Fessy up onto the inside, gets put up into the air by Lado, and on the brakes was Daryl Rollinson. Just avoiding right there. Alistair Hayes, Simone Fessy got side by side. Fessy got elbowed off the track, got back on, went down to the inside, and then got shot up into the air just a little bit. That upset the car, and Lado lost a lot of time with that situation right there. But, oh, you just don't want to see that. But something you do want to see, purple lap time, Dario Angelo.
Yeah, it was almost like the Tesco's car park for Darren Rowlandson. Had to go fully on his brakes. I think if they'd hit, they had to have exchanged insurance details. It was so slow. Luca Varani now coming under pressure from Lucas Maruk. Down towards turn 6 we go, through the Parabolica curve. This is flat out. It's not even a corner. I don't know why it is a corner on the track map. I think if you have to think about that,
it's more of a corner than Austria turn 2 according to F1.
Oh, don't get me started on Austria turn 2. I could go for at least several hours on that one. Any endurance races, that's always my my go-to topic, as Varani survives the attack, at least for this lap. Yeah, you're right, Luedo. Our producer's naming stuff. Yeah, Road America turn 2. I agree. It's a passionate subject for me. Corner names, if you have to brake, or at least if you have to think about it, should be a corner, but turn 5.
Oh, Luca. Well, that's a scary moment to have right there. I think the iRacing damage model, give it, the iRacing model, take it away. The iRacing model gives everybody in the booth a heart attack.
Why, he still hasn't got a real wheel for me. Clearly,
wait,
he must have...
he's got all 4 wheels for me, so I'm y'all are going crazy. Don't you drunk kids. You'll end up imagining a wheel off on Luca Varani's car.
Oh, now it's back on. Yeah,
okay,
so,
there, it's back. Okay, good.
The wonders of the iRacing damage model there. Yeah, clearly
Praise
Luca
that
Varani.
picture member to just fix that.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Only actually fixed itself when you went over the curb where Lewis Hamilton gained damage a few years ago. So that curb doesn't give damage, it fixes damage. As we head back to the top 3. As this is Luca Varani losing his position to Lucas Maruk. Varani on the inside, locks up a little bit, makes it towards the apex.
Oh,
Lucas
lovely.
is going to have such a better exit. And we're going to see a move into turn 7.
Luca under pressure by Lucas. Lucas on Luca. Lucas looking down to the inside, now looking onto the outside. Luca onto the inside, sends it onto the inside of Lucas, but Lucas, trying to hold it around to the outside right there. Got beached on the curb, and Luca able to stay ahead of Lucas. And he's staying pretty far away from that wall. Oh, nope, sparks that time. I saw some sparks. Luca Verani is probably just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing the limits right there.
He probably isn't even aware of it for half a lap. He had no rear wheel, at least according to us. So
I know after this broadcast, he's gonna. They watch this all together. They all go to the Discord and watch it together. They're gonna see that happen. He's probably gonna go, I don't remember this.
Well, let's hope that he doesn't end up in a crash and he's like, oh yeah, my rear wheel came off, and not like, oh, that's where the rear wheel came off. So yeah, let's hope for Varani's sake that he doesn't get too much closer to that entry wall, as this is Jerome Lamy setting such a close lap to his best lap time. Angelo sets the fastest lap time.
Lamley and Angelo, both their times 0.3 quicker than Samuel Hermer.
Oh, that's a really good point. Hermer struggling out front a little bit, dropping back.
This gap has close to 7/10. They are really working together right here.
I like what you said about the truce, and that's certainly what seems to happen for Lamy and Angelo, just not really fighting. And I wonder if they're going to keep this truce up until they get right onto the back of Sam Hermer. But Hermer doesn't necessarily have the pace at the moment. He did it the first phase of the race. But as the tyres wear down a little bit, Lamy and Dario just coming back a little bit in terms of pace. Hermer pushing so much on the exit of turn 12 once again. And that is going to be hurting the tyres. And we've actually, spoken to Hermer in the past, and, he isn't a big fan of the tyre model. He's found a way in setup to sort of negate the tyre wear, but I think he definitely prefers the old tyre model, of course, new for this season. All those 10 weeks ago now, or however long, but
all right, that truce, the gap to Lamley from Angelo is exactly the same gap from Lamley to Hermer. So it's even out right now. I think that truce, well, until Lamley is starting to put a lot of pressure on Hermer, they're putting pressure on them right now, but until he can get right up there and pretty much touch them, I say that truce is still going to be on, because Dario can launch a move right now and be in contention for the lead. It's just, it's playing a lot of risk-reward situations right here. And this fight for the lead is, well, it's closed up right now. 6/10 separates Hermer and Lamley, and 2 4/10 separate Angelo from second place. So these top three, well, it's not going to be lasting like this for a while. I would say this is about to get turned up to 11.
Certainly is, and actually this track really lends itself to, if you get pushed off wide by a car, let's say, as a hypothetical, Lamy gets past Hermer in an opportunistic spot, and Hermer is on the back foot. Dario has got a really good chance of getting past, so Hermer could very easily see his lead being converted into a third place. So, yeah, you've got to be really aware, and if you're Hermer, you've got to start thinking several corners ahead, start planning your entry into turn 2 to get the best run out of turn 4. Van Veen has had a little bit of an incident out on track, and Rolandson as well. Rolandson, as Dario Angelo goes so wide on the exit of the final corner there, almost doing his best Pierre Gasly impression.
Oh, it's going as wide, just a touch kitty-later on the outside right there. Oh man, Dario, you're gonna give your old man a heart attack if he's watching that right there. But he's definitely putting it all on the line to catch up to Samuel Hermer, as Hermer has put on the pace right now in this opening sector. It has pulled out that gap to Jerome Lamley right behind him. Lamley has the positive of draft right there, but he's got to knock down that opening sector. It looks like Hermer's weak spot is the arena section. So Hermer might be running a lower downforce setup compared to Jerome Lamley, because Lamley is definitely faster in the last sector compared to Samuel Hermer. And that's kind of the mystery of Hockenheimring, of what's the outright best aero setup that you want to go. They're all using the same aero system, but they might be running a little bit different wing angles.
Yeah, they've got the same. Oh, Lamy very wide on the exit of turn 12. I feel like I've said that almost every lap so far. Yeah, I think they're all running the same aero configuration. So
yes, the same aero configuration. It's just I think Lamley is running a higher wing angle.
Yeah, and it's so crucial, these wing angles. It'll, you know, if you're not sort of, I mean, for me, somebody who doesn't tend to drive the F3s, it blows my mind sort of how much even like a degree of wing can make to the top speed and to the drivability of the car. I come from GT3 cars where it isn't so much of an issue. And I've just spotted Hermer. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him. A few laps to go, yeah, a few laps to go before they catch the traffic, but is that going to play a role in the battle for the lead? And if you're the lead car, you know,
Depends
coming up
where
to
you
traffic,
catch him.
you...
It's his
it's
teammate Gavin Petty. Oh,
So-
this could turn into a full-on. This might turn into a full-on teammate situation. Oh my gosh, this might turn into a full-on Sergio Perez moment right here.
Yeah, that's the moment I was thinking too. So I think this is definitely going to benefit Sam Hermer, or at least you would have thought, as they are teammates. Of course, you know, teammates out there for themselves as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But this pack is certainly catching the back of Gavin Petty. Let's see, is Jerome Lamy a little bit closer through, a little bit closer to the track?
And around goes the Jello.
He hit the wall. He hit the wall on entry. Does he have damage to the rear of the car? I don't think he does. Or no, I think it was just...
No, I feel like he just, I feel like he's hit that inside curb. He was really scraping the wall. Yeah, he's hit that inside curb, and around the car goes, lost it, locked up the brakes right there, got off the track, and Angelo rejoins this race in 5th place. Oh, that's a disastrous moment for the 919, and now we got a 2-car fight for the lead. Jerome Lamley, though, fast lap of the race last time, 1:30.77. Definitely putting on pressure to Samuel Hermer right now as they run down into the hairpin right there. Gavin Petty has gone into the pit, so no Sergio Perez-ness for Samuel Hermer right there. Let's keep this clean. Let's keep this honest between these two.
Yeah, certainly so. No teammate tactics is Dario Angelo immediately starts the fight back, tries to go past Luca Varani, can't get it done on the braking zone. Does he have any more luck on the exit? Certainly seems like he's got more grip than Luca Varani. Pulls into the slipstream as they head through the flat out corner of turn 7. Is he gonna fancy move into turn 8?
No.
Thinks better of it. He's thinking about the long game here, Dario. He's made that mistake into turn 12. He just wants to finish, and he has got a shot at the podium if he plays his cards right. And so he's just got to play the numbers game. Is he going to have a move into turn 12? Well, 1 lap ago, he saw his fortunes change. And look at that, Lucas Maruk on the back of Dario now. And Lucas Maruk is a fierce overtaker. He is stupidly quick. He is absurdly quick.
By Dario, got onto the outside of the track right there. The track bottoms out flat. Curves away from the track, so we kind of just got beached right there. And Lucas Maruk trying to go from there. They're 3 wide coming out of the hairpin down in 26th place. They're side by side the 95 of the 35 on the inside. That's a big lockup by Clark Williams. Almost getting collected by Reed Dennis. And oh, Reed Dennis is in the wall. To avoid Clark Williams, they've locked up and they spun around the 34 of Reed Dennis down in 36, I believe, is where they're going to be coming out right there. No, 35th. And this is what happened to Reed Dennis right here. You see innocent bystander lock up in the car, avoiding action right there. Unfortunately, such an overcorrection ends up the innocent party. There's an old saying that my dad says, you want to avoid an incident at all costs, unless that incident equals in you throwing your car into a ditch.
Yeah, and what's worse for Reed Williams there is he just found out.
Oh, Verratti goes wide, and Angelo in the corner that sent him down to 5th gives him 4th.
Luca Varani really exploring the track limits there. Almost was closer to the drag strip than he was the racetrack.
He was taking the rallycross circuit that's actually in that arena. It's not rendered on iRacing, but it's actually right there.
Yeah, it certainly is, but for good measure, Angelo goes very wide on the exit of the final corner. Luca Verana, in turn, goes very wide on the exit of turn 1. Verani thinking about a move into turn 2. Just backs out of it, and that's going to compromise him now through turn 2, turn 3 and turn 4, and that's given the advantage to Dario Angelo, but Verani will gain the toe and the slipstream. Herma in the lead, set the fastest lap, a 1 minute 30.62. Jerome Lamy, though, a 6.9, so only about 0.05 of a second is, yeah, that is super close. And actually, just goes to show how close these drivers are. Herma had the better first sector, but Jerome Lamy had the better final sector.
Oh, there was something in the background. Car around, that was the... Was that Jim? No, it was Christian. It was Christian right there. This is just did his fastest lap, and the back end was squirrely.
So that
on the inside, and yeah, around goes Christian right there in 11th. Tony Jimenez got a free spot out of that.
Yeah, that started for Christian in the braking zone of turn 6. He just, you know, I think he got up on the curb and had to sort of correct the slide, which he did very well, but that heated the rear tyres, and then as soon as he started to ask a lot of the tyres on the exit of the corner, the tyres said, no, you must be joking, I'm far too hot to do any sort of work, and around the car went. But yeah, great recovery from him, no other cars involved, which is so easy, especially at the hairpin. You know, you can have a multi-car pilot there really easily if you're not careful, so great driving by all involved there. Lucas Maruk on the back of Luca Verani, and he's going to be going to bed tonight and closing his eyes, and he's just going to have the iGPFUN logo firmly implanted in his mind. He's been stuck behind Luca Verani for so long, almost 21 laps now. Actually, I think it's about 19 laps. Oh, Luca's so late under brakes. Almost collides into Verani there. We all took a step back from our monitors, but somehow he keeps it all under control.
It was so late on the brakes, the back end of Luca Verani just closed up on our screens, and it kind of looked like a Charles Leclerc closing into Rascas right there earlier today. Just suddenly wall and suddenly wing right there. Lucas Maruk, I think his heart rate might be going a little bit faster than it used to be last lap.
We're actually talking to Charles Leclerc, gave me, Charles Leclerc 2018 vibes when he had that brake failure and went into the back of Brendan Hartley at the chicane. So yeah, Lucas Maruk very lucky to tell the tale after that story. No damage done to any of their races, but now we see Dario start to pull away from Luca Verani. But Dario, after that spin, hasn't been able to produce the pace that we saw when he was at the front of the field. As once again, Sam Herma sets the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.45. But Jerome Lamy's going with him as well. The gap is slowly increasing, but Lamy is there. Herma, as soon as he puts a foot wrong, I mean, gets on the grass a little bit into the braking zone, Jerome Lamy will be there to capitalize on any sort of mistake. So Herma certainly not out of the woods yet. 8 laps to go, and this race is certainly not over. And now we do have some lapped traffic. That's the number 31 car there, and that is Jeffrey Brewer. So will he play a part of this leading battle?
It all depends on where they catch him. If they catch Jeffrey in the arena section, it will be playing a big benefit for Jerome Lamley, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be catching him through this section. It'll be catching him around turn 2, heading around turn 2 right there, but he's very slower that time, keeping all the blacks off, not really extending the track. So I believe they're going to be catching him right as they're heading into the hairpin. So Jeffrey, if he's going to pull over, he's going to do the right thing. He sees the leaders right there. He's not going to fight them at all and let them continue on. So everybody here is being very respectful of the leaders, either going to the pits if they're behind them or just pulling off to the side. They were really struggling with today. The 32nd place car was a little bit ahead of them, but they're just like, you know what, I just want to finish this race.
Yeah, and not get involved in the battle for P1, which is great sportsmanship there as Jerome Lamy sets the fastest lap of the race last time around. Sam Hermer, whether he got slightly spooked by that car ahead, not sure. A little bit deep under braking into the hairpin for Sam Hermer though. Jerome Lamy certainly back in this fight. And we do have some more traffic up ahead. And I keep on going on about the traffic, but it can make such a difference. So will the drivers up ahead be as...
that's traffic off wide right there. That would have given you a yellow, but both these drivers know to just go flat out through a yellow. This is not real life. You aren't going to get penalized for a yellow like that. As they continue on, and wide goes Hermer, wide goes Lamley. Hermer getting into the kitty layer. Hermer locks up through Sachs curve, and here comes Lamley right there when you don't want him. And those tires are getting it to a point where they're not resembling sticky slicks. They're looking a little bit greasy and not grippy at all. Kind of like, that's a lot of curb by Hermer on entry. And he got airborne from that one.
Yeah, there'll be more like 50 pence pieces than tires. After that, Lamy so much later on the brakes into turn 2. Another lock up there from Sam Hermer, really starting to feel the effects of the tyre wear. 3/10 gap now, and I think this is Jerome Lamy's best opportunity, at least in the last sort of 10 laps or so.
2/10 separate them now. He's gained a 10th in the toe. He's got the opportunity. Hermer defending out to the inside. He's gone for the dummy. Lamley sends it down to the inside of the hairpin. Jerome Lamley has the first place coming out of the corner, but he spit off the wheels off the exit. Here comes Samuel Hermer looking onto the inside as they approach the Mercedes grandstand right now. Side by side, they're going to go. Hermer retakes the lead. Lamley down to the inside. Lamley has the lead into the corner. Hermer goes out wide, gets caught up into the little trough on the outside of the curb. And Jerome Lamley has the lead here on lap 24 of 30.
Sam Hermer there played the smart game at the hairpin, just sort of biding his time, taking the wider line, getting the better exit out. Does the same at Sachs curve, but locks up as well. Hermer really feeling the effects of the tyre wear, and that one lockup cost Sam Hermer the lead. Of course, we've still got around 5 laps of racing to go. Hermer can get this. Lamy's so wide at the exit.
Off goes wide is Lamley's. This fight is not over yet. Hermer dealing with lockups, Lamley dealing with off-track and kitty litter. Now on the offensive is Samuel Hermer. Hermer up onto the track to Jerome Lamley is going to bide his time right now. You know how much speed you can gain through the Parabolica. He's waiting for that moment right now. He's in the draft. He's on the gearbox. He's got his nose buried in that diffuser. Lamley going towards the inside. There goes Hermer going down to the inside. Side by side they go. Samuel Hermer into the lead, into the inside of the braking zone. Gets deep onto the brakes goes Jerome Lamley. Hermer a little bit of a lockup mid-corner, but here comes Lamley back. But Samuel Hermer retakes the lead.
And while that's all been going on, where is our third place man, or used to be third place man, Timu? He's had some form of incident. Yeah, so Timu, who was in third place, he's down in 8th, so something's happened to him, and that's exactly what's happened. That's Sachs curve on the exit, so a little bit too much ambition on the throttle there, and around she went. Yeah, unfortunately not. Yeah, it's so easy to do, especially as the tires wear down. So Dario back up into third place, although not in the fight for the lead. And Hermer back in the lead. We do have some traffic though. We're going to keep on saying it, and at some point we might see some traffic interfering. Lamy pushing the absolute limits of the track and the car. Very wide at the final corner. Again, Hermer sets the fastest lap for good measure, 1 minute 30.3. And it looked to me, Austin, like Hermer had a little bit less wing. He had a little bit more speed, because Jerome Lamy had to sort of send it under the brakes, while Hermer seemed to be ahead of Lamy.
On the outside. Lamley went for the regular racing line around the outside. He just let the room for Samuel Hermer. He was being very respectful of Hermer right there when he went down to the inside. But Hermer is getting a nice tow by this lap car right now, heading into the hairpin. Hopefully they have a little bit different. Hopefully they have the idea to go wide. Yes, they do, as Lamley and Hermer both get past that first lap car. But there goes that draft toe that Lamley was pretty much counting on to get back to Hermer right now. Hermer, though, half a second in the lead ahead of Jerome Lamley. Lamley, he's just got to keep it within that pocket. Got to put a little bit of pressure on Lamley as they are approaching some more lap traffic. The 159 of Noel Richie Robertson and Kieran Richie Robertson are up ahead as they head into the arena section right now. Hermer's been having a lot of troubles with locking up. Goes a little bit wide on the entry right now. Off the exit, Richie Robertson goes wide and allows these two a little bit by. 4/10 separate them right now as they are closing in on 4 laps to go as they get onto the front straightaway. You can see on how much track that they are using all the track and then the AstroTurf and just a little smidge of that kitty litter on the outside, as Herbert is just blasting it through turn 1, getting an entire 10th right there through the corner. But Lamley, he's in the pocket. A new fastest lap of the race by Samuel Hermer. He is wheeling and dealing out there, trying to keep this ahead of Jerome Lamley. But Lamley, he's in the draft right now. He's getting a tow. 3/10 separate them right now. They're up to Keeler and Richie Robertson. Hermer just looking in his mirrors just a little bit. Lamley, late look right there. He's just selling a dummy, trying to cause a little bit of panic and trying to cause some of these tiny ways to turn into a different color and a different shade of gray, if you ask me. Because they're on the back of that lapped car right now, and they're going to pull away and let these two by. And we got a little clean air action right now between these two.
Yes, about 4 seconds to go until they hit the next car, so traffic certainly not over for the top two, but Hermer has dealt with it perfectly. Even I thought he was going to be held up into Sachs curve on the last lap, but no, Hermer set the fastest lap, so Hermer's got incredible pace. But to be honest, so is Jerome Lamey. Hermer once again locking up into Sachs curve. That front tire is going to start to scream at Hermer, say, I'm not enjoying that. And the temperatures are going to go through the roof. You're going to start to struggle for grip, and then, in a cruel fate of irony, it's going to be easier to lock that tyre up, and the cycle just starts and continues, and it doesn't really stop. And Jerome Lamey is sitting back in second, going, "Yeah, I like the look of that. I like the look of Hermer locking up, making a few mistakes, heading into turn 2. We have actually the worst type of lapped traffic if you're Sam Hermer, battling lap traffic. These two absolutely going." Pete and Tong, that's Gracie and Williams, 3/10. Sorry, that's, no, it is Williams in Gracie up ahead. So, no, sorry, it's Carty and Gracie. I will get it right at one point. Jerome Lamey thinks about making the move into the hairpin, thinks better of it. He's too far back to make that move. Once again, just sort of goading Sam Hermer into making a mistake, which Sam Hermer does wide on exit. A little bit of opposite lock for good measure. It is Nick Carty and Gracie having the battle. And that's, as I said, not what you want to see if you are Sam Hermer, and you just have less incentive to pull off to the side and let the two go through.
And they're in a fight too. Nick Carty is in a fight, so but
that's what I've been saying. Yeah,
take down to the inside and reach. Oh my gosh, they're so close to that wall. Honestly, you can. Honestly, the closer they get to the wall, the closer I think they're about to shave it with their face. Honestly, that wall could be a Gillette razor.
Not sponsored. Sam Hermer,
but they are dang good. And
yeah.
Ooh, Herbert getting held up into the final corner right now. They're getting held up right now. Here comes Lamley there, nose to tail, heading into turn 1. Herbert's gonna have to dive into turn 1 right now, and he does have to send it into the corner. The other lap car goes wide. Here comes Lamley looking down to the inside of Herbert. The lap car is playing absolute favorites right now, locking up into the race. They're 3 wide into turn 2 right now, and he blocks up Lamley right now. Herbert retakes the lead as Lamley tries to get right back on to Herbert's draft, but Herbert covers out that lap car and gives the lap car the draft to give the advantage back to himself, as Lamley is not going to get the draft with 2 laps to go. Heading into the hairpin right now, that lap car is still there. They're finally backed away in the braking zone. If there's a car parked on the apex, they want to see what the heck is going on with this fight. Clean air, 1.5 laps to go, and these two are nose to tail with each other.
That was poor from Matthew Gracie, you have to say. There's a difference between, you know, you don't have to jump out of the way of the cars, but you certainly don't have to race the race leader into turn 1.
There was no racing, there was no race car around him that he was racing except for behind the leaders. So there was no reason why they were fighting with each other as they both go wide. Big send into Zach's curve by Lamley. And guess how many laps are left? It is 1 lap to go. White flag as they come across the line.
Big
wide by Lamley. 1 lap to go for Seb Bosher and Jerome Lamley here at Hockenheimring, separated by 7/10. Big mistake by Lamley in that final corner. He's going to be absolutely livid right now, and he's going to have to send into every corner. This is going to be a qualifying lap for Jerome Lamley if he wants to go for the lead. Big slide into the corner right now, and I'm pretty sure that is game set for Hermer, and he's just got to keep it in, locked in right there to look for match.
Yeah, Lamey lost that when he went wide on the final 2 corners. He just struggled so much to get the car turned in, and then in a sort of an attempt to gain the time back, he's starting to overdrive the car. We saw that from Lance Stroll. He's one of the drivers as we look at Lucas Maruk trying to get past Luca Varani. Can't do it into the hairpin, and Lucas Maruk goes wide for good measure, and I think that's also sealed the deal for the battle for 4th place. In the background, they are almost 3 wide on the exit of the hairpin, Austin, and the racing is certainly not calming down. We don't have a battle for the lead, but we certainly have very intense battles up and down the field.
Glam Center looking onto the inside of Timu, thinks about it. Timu is going to keep into 7th place right now as they're trying to chase down Will McIntyre. As you know, the time has not fallen down for our leaders, as Sam Hermer, he kept it. He's kept his foot in it. He's kept his head in it. And he's come home with the victory here at Hockenheimring. Jerome Lamley comes out in 2nd place. A very hard-fought race between these two for 30 straight laps. A very beautiful fight between these two. And to only finish 6/10 separating each other, hey, that was a very great race for the lead here at Hockenheimring. As side-by-side, Nicholas Westman, and I believe that's Patrick Rowlands on the outside right now. They're side-by-side heading down out of the hairpin right now for 21st place. Westman on the inside, Rowlands around the outside, side-by-side they go from the Mercedes grandstand, and Westman, he's still going to have to hold it around the outside because Rowlands is down there, but around the outside, Westman clears them. Right now, nose tails, they head into the 1-1 corner. Rowlands going to try to look for a move into the arena section, getting all the way shook up right there, as there's a lot of smoke of cars sending it into the Sachs curves. A little bit of brake dust still in the air right there, but Nicholas Westman is going to come home in 21st. What a day. What a fantastic day for a great race. So many fights up and down the field, and there's a permanent smile on my face for those 30 laps.
Yeah, absolutely incredible race. What a day, what a race, and what respect, again, shown by these drivers. And it just goes to show that the rules that iGPFUN have implemented are really, really working. You know, we didn't see too many incidents, and especially on lap 1, you know, the not going 3 wide just allows these races and these battles to carry on for the whole 30 laps rather than ending on, you know, on lap 1 in a huge accident into the hairpin, let's say.
Yeah, it was very crazy. As here is our full results. Seb, I'll let you go run through these 41 drivers.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Sam Hermer is your race winner with Jerome Lamey 7/10 behind him. Dario Angelo recovers to 3rd place after his spin in turn 12. The only thing he really lost was the time and the ability to battle for the top 2, but he'll I think we're very pleased with the 3rd place. Luca Varani's in 4th with Lucas Maruk, who will be having nightmares of the back of Luca Varani's car in 5th place. Will McIntyre is in 6th with Timu coming home in 7th. Christian Glamsetter in 8th with Andy Flint in 9th, and Antonio Tellez rounding out your top 10. 11th place falls to Christian Latinzo with Simone Fessi in 12th with Alex Lowedo in 13th place. Then we have the 2 Brits of Darren Rowlandson and James Powsland in 14th and 15th respectively. Nicola Kona in 16th with Adam Tausmer in 17th. Massimo Di Laurentiis even is in 18th place with Rafael Munza coming home in 19th place with Jim DeBacker rounding out your top 20. Moving down to 21st place, we have Nicholas Westman and Patrick Rowlands. We saw that battle on the final lap with Richard Van Veen in 23rd. Kichua Aitoa is 24th with Clark Williams in 25th. Matthew Gracie had that spin at turn 8 a few laps ago. he comes home in 26th place, and our first man to be 1 lap down. Nick Carty as well in 27th, with killer Richie Robinson beating out his brother. He is in 28th place, with Zoltan Zamota unusually down in the lowly place of 29th, with Noel Richie Robinson in 30th. Jeffrey Brewer even in 31st, with James Thuelis in 32nd. Antonio Benitez is 33rd, with Robert Ridgway in 34th. These are your retirements now. 8 laps down for Robert Ridgway. Reed Dennis as well, 10 laps down. Alistair Hay, 11 laps down, with Vinny Morone, 20 laps down. Evan Way we lost earlier. Gavin Petty, didn't see him really take the start. Only did some laps just to sort of lap around, I think. Never really in competition for any places there. James Cockram is 40th, with Nico Veldman, who did not take the start of the race. And that is your 41 car grid.
Yeah, 40 cars took the grid, 30 laps. What a day it has been here at Hockenheimring, and I'm so happy to be back with iGPFUN after that week break. I gotta be honest, that Sunday it was missing a little something. I always enjoy doing it, and I've been doing iGPFUN broadcast for I believe 2 years or something crazy now, and let me tell you, it was a little bit odd not doing it last week. Even if I was covering something else, it was so odd just not seeing these guys out there on track. And I had a few drivers message me just like I miss hearing your voice.
Yeah.
Next week, don't worry, we're not taking a break. We're heading back to America for our final 3 races. We'll be in the Americas but first we're going to be at Road Atlanta next round. How are we feeling about that one, Seb?
Ecstatic as always. Wherever iGPFUN goes, it's always a great race and great fun, I think is the words to use for that. Yeah, Road Atlanta, tricky. It's got that, it's got the iconic S's. It's got some good overtaking spots, and crucially, to get to the chicane, you have to go through the really tricky double right-hander there. Traction is going to be so crucial, and if you make a mistake on your way into that corner, you're going to be hurting all down the straight. So yeah, it's another driver's track. I think every driver loves it. And, it's iGPFUN. What more could we ask for?
Cheese sandwich.
Yeah, I'll get on to that for Road Atlanta.
Sweet. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here on Total Sim Sport for the iGPFUN Formula 3 series presented by VRS here at Hockenheimring. I've been joined by this fantastic team of Seb Bosher-Williams on the